My name's David Woodfield. I'm one of the committee members of Otago TESOL, and I would like to welcome you all here today. So good to see you out on this rather chilly winter's night. Would like to welcome our speaker tonight, Willam Lucas. Thanks for coming over, Willam. Willam first moved to Dunedin in 1958. He initially trained as a secondary school teacher in chemistry, science and maths, but transitioned into TESOL 30 years ago, after taking advantages of opportunities to teach in Japan and India. He writes that he had himself the chance to learn English as a second language, not once but twice, at the ages of 5 and 7. Perhaps we can pick his brains a little bit more on what happened there. Over the course of his life, he's witnessed many technological advancements and has had to wield a wide range of tools and platforms, from logbooks and slide rules to cell phones and laptops. I think we could all identify with that. Reacting to some as a Luddite and some as an early adopter. Willam, welcome today, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to share about ChatGPT. Thank you.
Well, I better start with a few apologies. The first one is that I had a terrible night's sleep last night. I usually wake up once or twice, but last night I slept all the way through like a baby. And so I missed out on that pleasure of re-falling asleep again. The second apology is that I'm not really an expert at this. I actually first heard about ChatGPT last month, 3rd of May to be precise. So we're all kind of swimming in this sea together. And I'm not sure what the third one was, but perhaps something to do with memory or something like that. So ChatGPT, yeah, how did I end up giving the talk? Well, a Fifi approached me, and I must have been working at the computer at an enthusiastic moment. And oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. So that's what happened. Okay, so first thing I did, what am I going to do? I threw down a few notes because I had to prepare this lovely intro and bio. So here we go. Make sure everything is working. So I just scribbled something together there, and step 2, as you can imagine, I put it into ChatGPT. Said, please neaten this up, make this readable, etc. And it did this, which was written in the third person and various other things. So I think I used it, in an appropriate way, and I, edited it and made what you heard there, and I caught a few laughs, so it must have been reasonable. Right, so just to give a bit of context, so this is a form of artificial intelligence that, it's one in a long stream of things that I've had to adopt and adapt to, the same as you. So, let me see here. So, starting from my early experiences at school, Inkwell's nibs that you take on and off, blotting paper, even light paper, I think that was new too. Came in before sliced bread, but the film reels, the chicka 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 chicka, or the ones that dissolve. All these various things came through. We were talking about starting high school and having to switch from cursive writing to printing. Happened in about 1970, and we were allowed to use ballpoint pens for the first time. So I guess all of this kind of thing is bringing back nice memories. So all of these are forms of technology, and when you add them up and look at them, basically every year something is coming along. You know, when we started our TESOL course, not long after that we had to, you know, adapt to using email. Oh my God. And there's 3 things you had to be able to do in those days: use email, look up something on, you know, the internet, and prepare a Word document. So all of these things happen. So, and by the way, all of this information here, this is just an ordinary Word document, so I'll send it to David and he can post that out so you can catch up. So don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. So here's ChatGPT in red, and I don't know if it's just one in a long chain, and I don't know if it's something to adopt or, you know, resist. It's not the latest. Even this month I've been put in a classroom and it's got this blessed smart board that keeps starting itself up. You know how they work? You point to something at it and squares come up. And so, yeah. So let's see. So what happened on the 3rd of May? I saw a video on YouTube. It just came up. What was it called? How to use ChatGPT to easily learn any skill you want. So I watched that, and the next day watched another one, and after that, it went exponential. I'll show you the first minute and a half of each of these. So, did you notice that reading glasses was on that list?
On the podium.
On the podium, but these are for writing. These are for the computer. 1.52 points an item. Anyway, the laptop's so small. I like my PC. Okay, so I've got the all pre-done. So this is the how to use it to learn anything. Skip those ads.
So,
And maybe work on the volume. Is there anything else, perhaps?
You could turn it up, just at that little
Yes,
icon
got
down
it.
the bottom.
No, got it. Just on the other side. Yeah, that's nice. Here's somebody speaking.
over these past couple of years, I have tried to self-teach myself all sorts of things. You didn't know this about me. I love to learn. There are so many things I want to know about, like philosophy, psychology, history, business, and so many skills I want to learn, like how to code, how to create games, and how to animate. But here's the thing. Despite my love for learning, I am actually complete dog shit at this self-educating yourself thing. The process of finding resources, creating a curriculum, knowing what to study, when to review, and creating a schedule has always been my downfall. And up until just a couple of months ago, this has been my self-learning cycle from hell. But that all changed once a tool that you may have heard of called ChatGPT was sent from God himself to help me learn literally anything that I want. In just a couple of months, I have made considerable progress in the things that I want to learn using AI, way more than I had ever done before. So this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I've been leveraging AI on my self-education journey to help me finally learn any skill or subject that I want. So,
Okay, so that's an 8-minute introduction that you're welcome to go to. So, I guess that started things fermenting in the brain. So the next day when something else came up, and how did it come up, by the way? How was that suggested? What sort of algorithms are at play here? There was one that I was even more interested in because it had to do with languages, learning languages. So, again, 1 minute 24 of this.
ChatGPT now has voice, and this is going to rock the language learning world and change how we learn languages forever. This might be hard to believe, but ChatGPT is an innovative language model and AI assistant that can write stories, generate ideas, understand and respond to questions, and provide best guess answers to almost any question you might have. And it can do that because it was trained by the company OpenAI on billions of public internet text data. Basically, it read just about the entire internet and knows almost everything published there. It's so good that you can talk to it in a way that feels almost like talking to a real person. Many of you already know this from my last video. So what's changed? Well, a lot. There's now a way to add voice capabilities to directly talk to and listen to ChatGPT, and wow, this makes it extremely powerful for language learners. You can now talk about almost any topic in the entire catalog of public human knowledge by pushing one button, almost as if you were talking to your best friend who just happens to know everything in every language. You'll now be able to speak to ChatGPT in words in the language of your choice and listen to the AI talk back to you. You can have conversations around what's the best movie from this decade, what happens to the space debris when rockets split on the way to the moon, and how did the Spartans really do in the famous Battle of Thermopylae in the movie 300? All that in English, Spanish, French, Russian, German, Chinese, and many other languages. In this video, I'll show you how ChatGPT voice works, where to get it, and 4 powerful ways that you can use it for language learning. This is definitely...
So he does. He gives 2 easy ways to attach to different platforms, and it's very easy. And let's get back to here. So I started experimenting. I've got one more video, but we'll have that right at the end. Yeah, he explained 2 plugins. This marvelous one with the languages, I mistook and I did the other one, but it doesn't matter. This is the title. This is the page you'll come to when everything's ready to go. So you can type in here and it'll start generating. And hopefully this is live. I did have a go at using, voice to speak to it, but I found that I needed too much time to think, and while I was thinking, it was already replying to, what Amber was saying in the other room to us. So it gives you examples of what it can be used for. Capability, so it's remembering what you've said in any particular conversation. So if you have a long conversation, it's remembering all of that. And trained to decline inappropriate requests. You'll see an example of that later. It may occasionally generate incorrect information, the limitations. So I think one of my colleagues spoke of it generating bogus references. I think a lawyer has been caught out in the state somewhere. Again, it was making up cases. But you can ask it, why did you do that? Or how does that happen? And it will answer and explain itself. You'll still get detention, but never mind. And it professes not to have much knowledge after 2021. It seems a bit weird. I mean, surely you can just keep on updating it. Okay, let's get back to here. Oh yes, this is here. It's amazing. So when it's got here at the bottom the version. So already 2 weeks after I started, it went to a new version. So progressing so fast.
And this is the free version?
Yeah, and I don't know how long it will be there. So this is what I tried to ask it, to prepare for this very group of. It's not very good at spelling and stuff. So it's it's very happy to help. I'm here to help. Can you hear me? I don't have the ability to hear. However, how come can I assist you today? Sort of supermarket language almost. Okay, so what I did is I thought, okay, what's the range of stuff this thing can do? And I came up with about 8 different topics or ideas or areas. How good is it with, I don't know, Māori, te reo? Okay, there's no more than a couple of words. So that was my first question here. So, what topics, etc., etc. This might have this, etc., etc. I said, I'm thinking more of a narrative in very simple Māori rather than the primer. Okay, prefer a book and a narrative, blah, blah, blah. Certainly. And it teaches me, look, we'll use graded readers, we'll create graded readers. That's nice.
Was it talking to you, Willam?
This,
Or
so
was it
I
written?
quickly ended up written form. So, yeah, I type something in and just immediately,
Oh, it's typing it
yeah. So, you know, it'll give me a placement test. It knows the theory, it knows the,
Can
okay.
you stipulate the version of English spelling you would like?
Yes, you can tell if this is too difficult, explain as if it's to a 5-year-old, or, you know, use just the first 1,000 most common words.
No, I don't mean that. I mean English spelling or American spelling. For example, colour was up there spelled the American way. Just back
I'm
then.
sure, yeah, I think so. I
I've
think so.
done
We can
things
try
where
it.
I've asked for
Try it.
British spelling rather than American.
So that's the first task. Second one, okay, what about philosophy? Can you develop your own metaphysics, you know, based on time does not exist and we are all one? No problem. No problem. And this is kind of the hobby area of mine, so I've continued on with this, and it's fascinating. It's so good at repeating back what you put in and using more clear language. So it actually clarifies my thinking to myself. It's okay, so that's the second task. Third task. How imaginative is it? Now, I really enjoyed the Narnia books growing up. That was one of the things that helped me learn English for the second time. And an outline for an 8th book. Sure. It's always sure and certainly and absolutely. So it's very positive. I like that about it. One thing I don't like about it is sometimes at the end of a long spiel, it comes with a slightly, you know, yeah, but, you know, it gives the other side, you know, just to, so that you don't get too excited. So,
How long does it take to reply?
a
Seconds.
second
Yeah.
or two.
That's incredible.
I once sent it some information from a table. First I said, can you understand tables? If I am sure. I wasn't sure how to input it, so I laboriously did it. And it did take a while to puzzle over that, but does it? Okay. I had once written a graded reader whose chapters get progressively more, you know, difficult and longer. Can you do that? Can you do that? So here I'm speaking to it, and it starts answering before I'm ready. You know, okay, carry on. Okay. And of course, you know, it says it can.
Doesn't do it.
So how might the first chapter of 200 words look? So here's an example. Okay, first chapter, 200 words, easiest chapter. And of course it's too difficult. Architecture, sun order.
Did you give it a, what's the Cambridge level called? Did you tell it the level?
No, but it told me the level.
Like the
Just
European
later.
framework or something.
Yeah.
That'd be good to do. Much too difficult. Shorter. I apologise for the confusion.
Good manners.
It's got good manners. It does. It does.
So now we're intense. Yeah.
And not only did it provide that, it explains why. Can you analyse the difficulty level of the revised chapter? Sure. Based on the Flesch-Kincaid readability tests. Nice. And what that means.
How long does it take to be generated to come back up?
We'll do that later on. Yeah. Very fast. I'm a Krashen fan, Stephen Krashen, and there's a lovely study that was done about some women, adult women learning English, and he used the Sweet Valley, you know, the series of books. So I wonder if it's got that in its banks. It made up the questions, but later on I thought maybe you could make up those questions without actually knowing about it. So each thing that you ask and what you get back prompts you to think, well, how, and you ask more questions. So, you know, since the 3rd of May, quite busy with this. And this is screeds. This whole thing, even though I've made it larger so that it's moderately readable, has about 50 pages or 60 pages, which we won't all cover today, don't worry. You'll get to choose. So, sure, design a language learning program around Stephen Krashen. So comprehensible input, low anxiety learning environment, emphasize reading and listening, encourage language play, provide opportunities for interaction. So, okay. All right, but can you do?
Mix the languages, yeah.
Je suis gelukkig om hier te wezen aan me kator tanoshim de shaberu. This particular one wasn't good for speaking. You know, it couldn't understand a foreign language being spoken, but it had the perfect print ability. So, okay, here we go. Not 100%, is it?
No.
No. It's keeping the Maori ending of the sentence. So I said, look, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
You seem to be confused by the Maori conjunction are. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. It's not a conjunction, an interjection. Okay. Here are the revised versions. It's still.
Yeah.
So, do you understand or not? Also, where's the Dutch version, please?
Yeah.
There's some Dutch mixed up with that German.
It says
Apologies.
it's German, but it's not.
So here we go, and now it's getting better. So you can reiterate this. I've had students use this in the classroom, and they'll repeat up to 10 times to get it closer and closer to what they actually want. And it doesn't give up, and it doesn't get tired, and it doesn't get angry at you. Not that my colleagues ever. They're very tolerant of each other. Now, you've omitted the second half entirely. And now he or she's finally got it. Okay. So that's languages. How about creativity? You don't have to read the whole thing, but the beginning and the end is worth it. And Tintin is quite a nasty piece of work here. Human history. And I'll just scoot to the end. How? Because I've heard it explained, all that this thing is doing at its basis is it's just figuring out what the next word should be. You know, what is the next word, and it just makes that decision and comes up with. Back in about 2009, I first used something, a chatbot in the classroom. Jabberwocky it was called, and it was quite simple. You could put in a line and it would come out with a line that it retrieves from a bank of millions of things that other people have responded to it, to the same question. And that was quite good. So when I first heard ChatGPT, I thought, oh, that's just another chatbot. But this is not. I think this is a way of giving it a name so that it doesn't make you nervous or worried or suspicious. Oh, just chat. Make it a bit scientific, GPT, whatever GPT. So I thought it was something like that, but this is another level. All the references to, well, it says it only can go to 2021, right? So this must all be from 1 year. Turmoil, chaos, pandemic, lockdowns and masks, new world Black Lives Matter. So yes, so it's verse after verse after bridge after chorus after bridge after outro. You know, you come up with these questions. I have to try this. My class can wait. You know. Yeah, I know, but they won't be here yet. A cup of Joe to start my way. Coffee, give me a kick. Wake me up and make me feel slick. Brew just right with a creamy swirl, it's the best way to start. Coincidentally, the coffee machine in our staff room was broken down. I wonder if there's a connection. Sip of Java, oh so sweet, you know, and some of it you can really, you know, you can tell. You can tell that such a lot of work. Give it a pat on the back. No, try again. And goes again. Goes again. Goes again. Sets our souls on fire. I think that's Doors.
Yeah.
The references. Okay, so this is not going on and on and on. What's going to happen now is we're going to handouts. When did you get your first handout? So we have the Inkwell, but we haven't had Alice yet. So you get to choose which Alice questions you'd like to come up. I want to spend maybe 10 minutes on that, and then maybe 10 minutes on the non-fiction. I want a chat to rewrite the first page of Alice in Wonderland in a particular way. Which way do you like the sound of? Do you all have a copy? It's amazing, I guess 20 songs. I'll just start as if I had written it, Willam Lucas.
Actually, it's number 16.
Yes, that was my choice.
Yeah.
16, yeah.
We'll get to it, we'll get to it. We've got 10 minutes. So, okay, this is as if I had written it. Mistaken the name. Okay. Maybe it's the middle name that try Willam Lucas. No, sorry. So I'm not in its memory banks yet. Yeah, there is an actor. Yes, there is. To do with horses, I think. A series, a British actor.
Have you actually published anything so that your name is out there?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I couldn't find it.
Well, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been able to. I mean, one thing is in Japanese, so you wouldn't have found that, and the other one a haiku. I don't know if they would have put emphasis on that, but you know, the odd article and magazines.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to show you number 4 at least, so we can miss 2 and 3 if you like. Okay, so Arthur Conan, as if as if he was having an off day or a hangover or had Asperger's. Scoot through. You can scroll back to these. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
You've been told off.
And I thought it was polite and very enthusiastic. And yeah, I did. Okay, I suggest we focus on. Well, hangover. Come on, the hangover's not anyone. No, and it's a little bit shorter now.
Yeah, are you not listening to me?
If I continue in that vein, I might get into real, as if he had Asperger. No. So obviously, yeah.
Just some alternatives. You're obviously having trouble.
What about if he was texting? Is that being? As if he was texting.
Like texting to someone else.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, you'd almost say it's imitating a typical teenager, isn't it? A little bit kind of. It's good. Now I know how to use these things. I don't know how it helps, but it looks cool. Board AF.
That's rude.
So, yeah, I hope you're not bored AF.
All right.
We still got a couple of minutes. Any favourites?
16.
Monty Python.
Monty Python
Yeah.
is the last one. There's some beautiful ones here. You know, actually, the working under the rainbow is just, you will be, astounded. Can I just?
Can we just go on to Lee Child?
Lee Child. Yeah, okay. Who's Lee Child? Just tell me. What kind of talk?
Oh, they've all done it. Yeah.
Yeah, so very nice. I like to recommend it to people, or choose it myself if I'm learning another language, because short sentences, action, sentence fragments, of course, but okay, Lee Child. She wanted action, adventure. She had to follow the rabbit. She had to know it was going. She didn't know what she was going to do. Didn't. She was on the hunt and nothing could stop her. It's very- Okay, I will go on to the. If this was my computer, I would know how to quickly search. All of this you can catch up on, so don't. Dracula, no, we're getting there. So we start with a disclaimer, just to. It's nice.
Western societal norms.
And what about the white rabbit?
So it's gone from using very formal kind of language now, isn't it?
It does that for the, is it written by a committee? That's also similar.
Okay, because so it's kind of academic kind of now, isn't it? Yeah.
So get ready to fall down the rabbit hole with us, and let's explore the many ways that I'd be tempted to do a course like that. That actually, this seems better than the stuff that we're being sent and asked to, complete and
You
do
think
this.
Tapukinga should be using ChatGPT to put out all their communication?
If they are, they're using sort of an earlier version, I would think. Yeah. You're keen for Monty Python. It's not that on the way. Oh, yeah, see. Is that what happens when your fingers get sweaty a wee bit? Committee, no, I'll scoot past that. That's homework. Yes, a lesson. We all still use lesson plans, don't we? So we've got a name, we've got our materials, we've got your introduction, you're greeting them, introduce the lesson, yeah. Book cover, yeah. Activity, yeah. It's all there, flashcards. So, it hasn't stopped working. Practicing then the closure. It's, okay. Rap song set in New Zealand. The only NZ reference is Kiwi, but the rest sounds rap to me. You want to. You're good at that, Jack. Prep this. And the last one, because then the second handout is going around, the serious one. If I get these past, and I'll slowly scroll.
What a boring. I wish something exciting would happen.
Oh dear idea, I shall be too late.
I don't know how to get. Okay, ready. The mouse are good. Greetings, lass. How do you do? It's not that funny, not particularly that one, but
okay.
I'm hoping that the non-fiction is going to get your whet your appetite or get your dander up. Expression is. What have we got? Get from the way. Oh yes, the first one. So we were talking about that. Te Pukenga. Again, we won't have time to read, but you can judge what's there.
Do they not know they're not allowed to use the word merge?
Oh, it's merge. Yeah. There's a list of words we can't use. Merge. We can't use teacher or student. Must be
Staff.
our writing.
Can't use staff.
No.
As language teachers, you can't use these words.
You can use them sometimes, but it doesn't specify what sometimes is.
Oh, okay.
So different titles.
Yeah, we can't avoid it altogether.
And
That person who stands up.
Yeah, and merges because denial of
Yeah.
what's happening.
So it knows all of that. So you get a sense of the, you get a sense of the. It's very.
Oh, clever people though.
No, but no, to make the what you're doing. It
I
takes
just
a long
copy and
time.
pasted what it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put it into Notepad and Notepad into this. Thank you. We all like number 2. We all like 500-word essays. Here, let's number 3. Hasn't the conference been cancelled or postponed or something? Well, we might try number 3. Let's have an online conference focusing on this. It can do it. Yeah, it can give. So let's go past the essay. Here we are. These choose from these presentations. Help students build confidence. And I just put in 20 randomly. I could have put in 50. I could have put in 1,000. I would have done it. I mean, I think it stops after a certain while, and you have to refresh it, and it'll keep going. I don't know how long this will be available. So, for us, and again, everything is certainly. In 20 ideas. This is getting the students to use it too. I've got a group of Japanese engineering students I'm working with, and I thought I'd introduce a wee bit of that. They know it already. They know it all already. In fact, one of the students said, look, for the projects that you want us each to do, each a different project, I'll do one on giving advice to teachers what they ought to know about this and what the students are already doing and what you need to, teachers need to be careful of.
Send us all a copy of that presentation.
Okay, so those are the things. Well, what about the first thing to try? First thing, here you go. Create person. It's advice to us. You spend a lot of time marking and correcting. It's a traditional part of. Here you go. So I had those same students keeping journal for their first time. So this is what one student wrote. See the level. So, isn't it cute? He wasn't allowed to use the egg because eggs are expensive here now. The egg. I think they've got one egg per week and they have to spoon. Chat. Okay, here we go. So these students, they started their program when we were still on holiday, so I set it up, write a daily journal. So their first 24 days they were doing that and blogged it. Blog, by the way, is 2006. I started blogging. And one of the students said, do you mind if I keep on doing that? It's really good. And because I'd fed this in and showed him, and he said, I can use that to improve. So can you summarize? So, boom, 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 boom. These are the the things I looked at, and it'll rank that. It'll say which one was most important, which occurred most often. Verb tenses, word choice, etc. I mean, how? And this is 2 seconds. It's, so there must be a way of appropriately using this thing and making our lives not only easy but better. It's paraphrasing. I threw in another one because one after another they caught COVID and they were away for a few days. All of 6 out of the 7, I think. And one of them was away on the day that we were deciding what kind of reading would suit you. So we fed in all that we knew about that student. Hang on, I'm talking about the one after this. Okay. Oh yes, number 9. So I'll scoot ahead to number 9. Yeah. I've started using things like L or false names because who knows what this is remembering about people. Probably it's even a good disguise. It'll work it out. So, recommending what to read just based on the interests. Okay, can ChatGPT tell if something's written by a human or by itself?
I give an example of this,
Mhm.
William? Today in
Please.
class I was trying to check if a student had used ChatGPT to do her work, and I put it in and it said, this is definitely generated by ChatGPT, and I did that with several different paragraphs. Then I thought, I'm just going to write a paragraph just out of my own head using a general essay structure. So I did and said, is this generated by ChatGPT? They said, this is definitely generated by ChatGPT. So I responded, actually it's not, I just wrote that. And then it told me, I'm sorry, I can't guarantee that I'm correct, basically. So
It's been on the news, hasn't it, that they can't.
yeah.
100%.
So we get into a few arguments, me and ChatGPT.
It's good too.
That's okay.
I think I'll try and let you ask one or two questions here. You can see it in operation. Number 13 is there a future for us? That can be your homework reading. It thinks there is, so let's just spoil it. Okay, I'm going to see if I've got that set up. Here it is. Okay, so send a message. What should we type? And yeah, I can't see how to make it voice here, so we'll just watch it. What should we put? Are you listening? Are you connected? No,
What time is it?
Okay, let's get the size up a bit. Okay, you something that anything that's lodged in your mind, a question, serious, non-serious, fiction, non-fiction.
I have a question, but I know it will say it can't do it because it's a 2023 question.
Well, maybe it can predict
My
the future.
question would be,
Yeah.
what did the Qatari player say to,
Oh, yes.
what's his name, Boxall? Soccer player. They both have
Is it something topical? Is it?
Yeah.
It's the news was
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
It's in this one.
This
So I know.
Racism. He made a racist
Yeah.
remark to.
Do soccer players make racist remarks? Oops. It doesn't worry about spelling, I don't think, but.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's the. It doesn't speak that fast, by the way. But once it does start speaking, you can't shut it up, so.
Can you ask it, how do you respond to racism? See what it says.
Yeah, nice one. How would you respond to racism? I think I have to click this arrow to. Oh, it's writing a whole.
Wow.
In one paragraph, please. Thank you.
How about asking how you could stop ESOL students from cheating using ChatGPT?
Oh, that's a good one.
Stop. And typing isn't one of those skills. Cheating. My fingers, yeah, but my finger, is it moving the arrow? Yes, it is. No single solution I see at the end. This isn't it.
Seven steps.
combination of technological solutions, educational strategies, and ethical considerations. Okay, monitoring and detection, academic integrity.
What happens with regenerate response? What does that do?
It's a different one.
Regenerate.
Yeah.
So
Rewords
maybe
it will come
it
up
does.
with slightly different ideas.
Change the order I want.
And I can stop generating too by pushing that. So it's somehow still continuing. I think since I started this, and it's got a new function. I can actually post one of these chats to someone. I can email it, but I don't know if it lets you see all the various things. See, it's stored what I've done here. See, here's Tintin and Asterix. I see here Alice in Wonderland. And gives them titles itself. It works out what the title of that conversation is. But I don't necessarily want everyone to be able to read all what I've written and asked. I'll leave this sitting there too, but I just want you to listen to, it's a 4-minute clip of a podcast where this Egyptian man who used to be the head of Google X, he's got reservations about AI. He thinks it could be the best thing that's ever happened to us, or it could have, unforeseen consequences. I think it's probably important for the bigger picture to listen to that, which was going to be the conclusion of the talk. So I'll scoot back to where I was. As I was saying, all of this you're going to get. Here we are. So Mo Gordert was the person. So from 1:20, 4 minutes.
Traveling just got easier with this new revolutionary
Short story. I applied for funding professional development by, joining Google and not having ads. Pay $7 a month for that, and that was accepted. I could do that, but I couldn't do it for the whole year. I had to apply each month. I got that. So life gets easy, but not always.
news article that had just come out, I think, in the last couple of weeks, that you feel that we're currently engaged in a productivity pandemic.
We're engaged in many pandemics. The truth is that we are focusing on the silly ones.
What is the real one?
The real one is artificial intelligence, no doubt.
Why?
Because it's here to stay and evolve and become bigger and bigger and bigger and influential in ways that we have not even started to consider yet. COVID is here to come and go.
For someone that doesn't know what artificial intelligence is, which is a lot of people, probably more than 95% of the listeners to this podcast, what is artificial intelligence?
Great question. So the reason for Scary Smart, my book, is entirely around that there are so many people out there that have no clue that they have interacted today, whatever time of the day it is for you, wherever you are, whatever you do in life, you've already interacted with 10 to 12, 15, 20, maybe 50 artificial intelligences that are all smarter than you. That's the truth of our life. Artificial intelligence, there was a turning point in the history of technology where before which all technology was programmable, so it was simply a tool that extended the capability of humanity. Okay, you can't hammer a nail with your hand. You use a hammer. You can hammer a nail with the hammer, and the hammer will do exactly what you tell it to do. Okay. Beyond the turn of the century, we've discovered something that's called deep learning, and deep learning allows machines to learn on their own. We don't understand how they learn. Developers that write the code don't even
understand how they learn, but they develop intelligence. They become able to make autonomous decisions based on intelligent observations and a sense of their environment and a sense of the conditions that surround them. And they make those decisions on every specific task we've given them better than humans.
Something you said scared me before we started recording, which was that you're a very smart guy, right? And your professional experience, especially working at a company like Google, which is known for its artificial intelligence capabilities, for you to say to me that you've basically given up your summer to go around the world talking about your new book, Scary Smart, and the implications of artificial intelligence, and you're basically choosing to, because you understand the importance of time and you could be doing anything, for you to consider this the important work of your life in this period, begs the question, why is it so important? Why are you giving up so much to spread this message?
It is the single most important message on our planet today. I don't think people realize. So AI today is better than humanity in everything it does, okay? By the year 2029, the smartest being on planet Earth is going to be a machine. Now, I don't want to, we can go into the details, but I want you to imagine a scenario on planet Earth where we're not the humans but the apes, okay? Where there is another being that looks at us as the apes, okay? And that being is going to be smarter than us, you heard me correctly, in 8 years' time.
8 years' time?
8 years' time. And we're not talking about it. What's going wrong with humanity? We're not talking about it, okay? Well, if you look at AI from the inside, you realize that through the law of accelerating returns, Ray Kurzweil basically predicts that by the year 2045, it's in your lifetime and mine, AI is going to be 1 billion times smarter than humans. 1 billion times smarter. You know what that means? This is comparable to the intelligence of Einstein as compared to a fly. Okay? And humanity, while we're still Einstein, is not discussing how are we going to keep the best interest of us, the fly, in Einstein's mind. Okay? We're talking through the arrogance of humanity about how we're going to control them, how we're going to box them, how we're going to tripwire them. Good luck with that.
So the link to the whole thing, 2 hours, is there. It's not all doom and gloom, but it's certainly, it's a big topic and it has a bigger picture. Yeah, so this is a month and a half's work to bring it to that point. Let's wish ourselves luck and hope we can make the best use of these things and live in these interesting times. If you had another question, either of it or me, we're right on 7, but
you could waste a lot of time having, just doing, oh, how about this one? Yeah. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Formulating the questions is the key. If you can, and interacting with it appropriately, he feels that the best chance we have is to have the AI to model itself not on the typical, rubbishing YouTube comments that goes there, they're putting people down and speaking violently and all that. He thinks AI needs to be brought up like children, like ethically, so that it can learn from the best of us, and he feels there only needs to be 1% of people in the world with that kind of way of communicating, and that will be enough for them to develop their own set of ethics. And
so what if you ask it now, could you be programmed so that AI never did harm to humans?
Sounds like Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, doesn't it?
Well, there's
yeah.
other ways.
So
Yeah.
what was that again? Could you be
Could you be programmed so that AI never did harm to humans?
Thank you very much.
You want that simple English?
Well, that's the second one.
Okay, so again, it's doing something, and I will just scroll to the top so we can see.
So can other AI be programmed? Can other AI program
Yes,
itself?
an AI
themselves?
model, so I guess
Yeah.
it's.
This one can other AI?
Yeah, the gentleman from Google, again, he thinks the greatest danger is not from AI itself, but from how other humans are using it to, looking for the profit or looking for the power, looking for the advantage.
That could be quite an interesting question to ask, because we have OpenAI, who developed ChatGPT, halting their research because of the open letter led by people like Elon Musk, who said we have to stop and wait for a while, yet at the same time his company has now surpassed ChatGPT because they're rushing their research to catch up. So he's asking for some people to stop, yet he's rushing ahead.
Yeah.
Where's the ethics when we have to think about things like that?
He talks about that too in the podcast. He says it's almost impossible to stop that, because if you do, then you're letting another, somebody else will definitely do it.
Yeah.
Remember how excited we were about the internet when we
Yeah.
our access to knowledge and what's happening.
So, I mean, as a group, we've been through so much. None of us started the slates, but
Just about.
well, it
At least-
depends on.
Introduction
But still-
of lines was not new to me.
These products are still based off probability. They're not yet general intelligence, and they're predicting that will be next year. That's real intelligence, where the AI will actually have its own experiences. That is when things get very interesting very quickly.
Yeah, it's the self-learning thing that's so amazing. That's what initially made him very nervous. So they had sort of robotics set up with arms, trying to pick up fluffy balls or something, and nothing was working. The way it goes, they go here and then they look in the camera to see if something has happened. And then one day he went along and he saw one robot manage to pick up a yellow fluffy ball. And he thought, wow. And then the next day it was picking up everything. And then the day after that, all of the robots are doing this. So they've all kind of learned it through some magic, 100 monkey effect.
Yes.
So they don't know how the machines are learning. But yeah, definitely they're learning. And he talks about things happening in a matter of just a few years or even a few months.
Oh well, we better
Hold on. The ride.
we'll draw the meeting to a close.
It's going to be a riot, isn't it?
At this point, but
Quite a last meeting.
yeah, thank you for such a fascinating talk. And we have a little gift for you. Some more kind of traditional technology. Yeah, so.
It looks Japanese wrapped. This is special.
Thank you.